way. What's up, party people? It's Dan, your basement guitar superstar. Welcome to another episode of Creator Hangout, and my screen is totally messed up here, so give me just a second because it's showing me. There we go. Okay, that's better. So tonight we're having another episode of Creator Hangout, and I just had to have Charles75N on because I enjoy talking with him and chat in Ben Coombs' channel and enjoy his content. So Charles, thanks for joining me, man. I appreciate it.
No, thank you for having me. It's a joy to be here, and I think I was one of your first subscribers. I had heard that you had a channel, and I saw a video, and I was hooked. I just love the way you approach it.
Awesome, man. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I think I was one of your first as well when you started.
Yes, most definitely you were.
I think I was number 11 for you.
Yeah, you were pretty close up there. And
yeah, I was in the top 15. I know that for sure. You might have been in my top 10, I think, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a joy watching your channel evolve, and I might not have made the plunge into my channel if you hadn't had yours.
Oh, really? Oh, dude, I'm flattered. Thank you. I appreciate that.
It was definitely part of my decision-making process because I never set out to have a channel and to make videos, and I ended up making my first video just for someone that had sent me a guitar.
Oh, okay.
Because it came damaged, and I ended up having to fix it. So first it was making the video showing the damage, and then it was, okay, now we're going to fix it. Let's make a video of that. And so it was really just making a video to share between a couple people. And then I had been looking at what you'd been doing and what Grumpy Mike had been doing. Of course, I'd been following, Phil McKnight and Ben Coombs and all the other guys forever. So, but I never really thought I'd have a channel. But it was your channel in particular that made me decide, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to make some videos. I'm going to have some fun with it. I'm going to throw them up, and whatever happens, happens. I don't care if the channel gets big. I don't care. Whatever, I'm just going to make them for me and anyone that wants to enjoy them, and then and that's going to be that. And it'll grow how it grows, or it'll stay where it is, and that's fine too.
Right. Well, dude, I appreciate that, man. I'm flattered. I really am. Before we dig into the weeds too much here, I want to ask you about that fabric top guitar because I really love that. I think that's my favorite video you've done.
Which one?
The one right behind you with like the swirls on the bottom, the Strat style one with the welcome.
Okay, yeah, that's the second one I made. First, I did the LP Junior up there.
Okay,
which is in Paisley, and but this is the one you're talking about. So let me grab it.
Well, hey, Charles, grab the other one too because I want to see the top on that because I saw that in the background in one of your other videos. I don't think I've watched that one, so I want to know what it looks like up close.
Okay, so this is the one you're after,
right?
And this is the second one I did. This is after having worked with, and I will tell you, it was much harder to do the Strat than it was to do the LP Junior.
Well, why is that?
All the curves and the horn. Well, basically, really, the horns were the dilemma.
Oh, sure.
Because that fabric will not sit over the top, and so I had to come up with a different way to do it.
Well, yeah, the finish on that turned out great with the gloss and everything.
Yeah. This one has been actually cleared a couple different times because it was originally shot with just a gloss urethane.
Okay.
And then ended up, I was having trouble with the Kramer I'm doing for Ben Coombs. And so I was trying to get it this one to react the same way that his was. And so I shot it with 1K clear over top of that and didn't have a problem with it. I think Ben and I decided that it's kind of a combination of maybe some of the dye in the fabric on his. Okay. And then, of course, some of that is, too, I think I probably laid down some coats that were a little thicker than probably should have been.
Right. And I can't believe you got those Wilkinson pickups for $20 for the set. That's insane.
It was cruising. This was a reverb cruise, and they were originally more than that. The two Wilkinson P90s, I think they wanted 30 something for them, which was a deal at that price.
Yeah, I mean that's still a highway robbery on the buyer's part.
But if there's an offer button, I'm going to use it. Because I'm just cheap, right? So it was. I bought that whole guitar. That guitar I bought for $24.
Yeah, I remember you saying that.
Okay, and then I've got roughly $75 into it all together, roughly in material.
Dude, if you ever decide you want to get rid of that, will you give me first dibs on it?
Oh yeah, Dan, I would be more than happy to do one for you.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I may have to take you up on that potentially.
All right. Well, I tell you, when we've finished this, we'll talk about that, and we can do. It might take me a while, but we can certainly do one for you.
Okay. I may have to get like a cheap Squire Strat or something. Then
Okay.
I only have one. I have one guitar right now that I'm having issues with, and it's, how I'm a big fan of vintage, the brand.
Mm-hmm.
I have a V6, which is their Strat style guitar.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a maple fretboard, and it's got a couple frets where on the end, it looks like the metal has kind of like split the fretboard open.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I don't know if that's like what they call fret sprout or if that's like.
Well, is the wood itself cracked, or is the fret just coming out?
No, the wood's cracked.
Yeah, that wouldn't be fret sprout. That would just be they probably weren't installed right to begin with, I would think.
Sure. Maybe I'll take it back to the dealer I bought it from then, because I haven't told him about it yet. I was like, well, yeah, probably just sand it down or whatever, but yeah.
I mean, so where is it actually cracked? Is it in the crevice where the fret goes, or is it outside of that? What?
It's outside of that, right? So like, let's say this is your fret. The neck is right here. It's about like right here on the side of the fretboard. If you're
on the fretboard and the crack goes down into the neck?
Yes.
Yeah, it sounds like someone might have pressed it too hard.
Oh, shit. Okay. Well, I'll take it back to the shop I got it from then. Hopefully they can fix it or make it right or something, because I didn't get it that long ago. But anyway, neither here nor there.
I mean, you just have them look at it and sit there and tell you if it's something to worry about or not, because it may just be a finish crack.
Right. Yeah.
Is it a gloss maple neck?
Yeah, it's gloss finish maple neck.
It may just be in the gloss finish.
Oh, okay. It's annoying though to slide my hand over, so I haven't been playing it.
Mm-hmm.
But
all right, well, yeah.
All right, let's see that Les Paul Jr. then.
Okay, so this LP Junior was this was a $50 buy.
Okay.
Okay, and then I fabric topped it. Now you can see this one is not as glossy as the other one. It has only got a semi-gloss on it because I wanted it to look vintage. I figured the paisley and then with the black on the sides. This was the very first one that I did, and I wanted it to kind of have that vintage vibe, like it was something that someone threw together in the '70s just to have it.
Oh, yeah.
And so after doing this, I was just like, well, I don't want to throw that Epiphone humbucker back into it. And so I was talking with Ben and Dave Nestal. Dave Nestal was in on the conversation because we were in the chat on Guitar Town Hall. And they were like, dude, you need to have a Filtertron. And so I went with the TV Jones TV Classic, and it went into here. And of course, we wired it 50 style. And this for a $50 guitar, this is a lot of fun.
It looks a lot of fun. That what radius is that fretboard? It looks freaking huge, or maybe it's just the body small on it.
I think it's either a 10 or a 12.
Okay.
And I think it's probably a 10.
Okay. Is it just the body smaller in that one than I'm?
Yeah. Oh yeah. This is a smaller body. If you look at it in terms of a regular.
Okay. So it's not like my eyes aren't playing tricks on me then.
No. It is teeny tiny.
Okay.
Hence junior.
Right. Well, but I mean, I have a Les Paul Jr. style guitar from Chapman. You probably saw that one on the channel. It used to be Rob's.
Yeah.
And that one, the body style is the same. It's as big as my vintage V100s that I have.
Uh-huh.
So that's cool, though. I like that.
If I don't hang that one, I will knock it over. That round bottom.
Oh, yeah? Nice.
Yeah.
So, dude, talk to me about how you got started playing guitar initially.
Okay, well, I didn't play guitar as a kid, and so I had, in middle and elementary school, I started playing clarinet, and then they asked me to play bass clarinet, and then they wanted to have a jazz band, so they said, "Well, can you play saxophone?" So yeah, I ended up playing clarinet, bass clarinet, and all 4 saxophones. I was a guy that, they would just give a fingering chart and an instrument, and I would go learn it and play what they needed.
Nice.
And, I wasn't really talented, but I could technically do it, And so in middle school, we had a guitar class for one portion of our music class, and I kind of got interested, but I couldn't really pick it up. In high school, I asked my parents for a guitar for Christmas one Christmas, and they got me an LP style guitar, and but I never. It wasn't, it was a really cheap copy kind of thing. It was really hard to play, and so I didn't pick it up as a kid at all. And so I hit about 3 years ago. I hit 50, and you start looking back at your life and the things that you wanted to do and you never got to do. And I was like, okay, well, I wanted to learn to play guitar and I never did.
Right.
And so I started, I got onto YouTube and I started looking at guitar channels, and I came across Phil McKnight's channel and really got interested. And I'm a real hands-on kind of guy. So for me, playing guitar wasn't just learning to play it was also learning how does it work and all the other things do. And I wanted to do that. And so I bought a acoustic electric and got started with that. And then I bought, what is my number one? You've seen on the channel, I'm sure.
Yeah, I've seen number one a couple times.
Okay, and this guitar never goes anywhere. I don't care. It's got I took it, and it's a 20th anniversary Squire Affinity, and I put Mexican pickups in it. It's got all Mexican electronics in it. Put 1801 locking tuners on it.
Nice.
But the really cool thing about and then of course the pickguard and cover on the back. This and then we got a tusk nut and a tusk string trees on it. But the really cool thing about this one, Dan, was this was a project that I did with my son. At the time, I'd never soldered in my life. My son was in high school, and he had learned to solder for Solar Car Club. And so he helped me to solder the electronics into this. So this never goes anywhere.
Okay.
This is us together. And this guitar, $42.
Wow. Nice.
Like I said,
that top volume knob, is that in a different spot than normal?
No, it's standard layout. It just looks like it because of the color of the pickguard kind of messes with the idea of it. Sure. And the idea that, and then I went with the black pickup covers instead of the traditional white or something else that would be on a black guitar.
Okay. I thought maybe you moved it up an inch or two or something.
No, but it's pretty much in the same. Yeah, it's in the same spot as the other Strat I've got. So.
Cool. So anyway, you were saying you did that project.
So I did that project, and that got me hooked on doing on the mods and that kind of thing with it. And so really wanted to understand how things work. And so I just kind of consumed. And it was when Phil was doing all his Sharpen My Axe videos at the time.
Oh, sure, I remember those.
So from Phil's channel, I found Ben, and I found Grumpy Mike and everybody else, and have just been enjoying it since. And so I started doing the thing where you go onto YouTube and you pick a song here and a thing there, and you try to sit there and put it together. I took the Guitar Sage's introductory class that he does for free.
Oh, sure.
The online ones he does for free. And that kind of got me started playing some chords and doing some things. And then I started figuring out some things by ear. But like you always say, I was a crap guitarist. I wasn't really learning anything. I was just noodling and doing things. I wasn't progressing. And so one of the groups I came across was NAMM Guitar Corner.
Okay.
And I had met them in the chats, and we got talking, and they have a Skype group that we talk back and forth on all the time. And, and Martin's been really great about teaching me how to solder better and how to wire guitars and all that stuff. So it's been a really great relationship there. And one of the things we were talking, I would go on their shows sometimes, and one of the things we were talking about was what are your practice routines, right? How you're getting better. What are you going to do to become a better guitarist? Because we all realized we were doing a lot of noodling,
right.
And not progressing as much. Now, Martin is a very serious guitarist, and he works all the time. But I myself, I wasn't progressing anywhere. And I'm a trainer by trade. And I was in a training, I was looking at a training that my work does. And they were talking about it was a study where they said, if you do something for 21 days, it helps build a habit. If you do the same thing 21 days in a row, you build a habit of doing it, even if you just do it for 10 minutes a day. And so we were talking about that. And so we had NAMM Guitar Corner, the guys there and a couple other guys, we all got together and we had this challenge. And could we do it for 21 days? Could we practice every day for 21 days to sit, and do it? And after doing it for 21 days, I will tell you, it did build a habit. I don't necessarily play every day now, practice every day now, but I do play every day now. And I'm not just noodling, I'm learning something new at least every other day.
Sure.
And so I started, I've been working on Fender Plays, their blues program, and doing that. And just in the time period since I've done that, I've progressed so much.
So what specifically in that blues program are you working on? Is it like, are they doing scales? Or are they doing like different blues licks? Or they...
Everything is kind of broken down into it. All the lessons on there. It's really, really kind of from beginner to intermediate on their lessons. But when you start, they start with a little bit of theory, and then a practice, and then a piece of a song or whatever. And you learn all your concepts while you're learning music. And so there's a lesson where you go through with the online instructor, you follow it, and then there's a practice session where you do it, and then there may be the introduction of a song, and that whole kind of thing. It's all layered. Nice. And it's pretty good. But I think what it's really good for is if you are a beginner guitarist, right? So once I get out of that, once I get into the intermediate stage, I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to find something else.
Right. That's cool. I didn't know how that program was, and I see advertisements for it all the time, especially like on Instagram and stuff. It's on there constantly.
I've been, I've enjoyed it. It didn't really work for me until I did this 21-day challenge, because before I would just get on and do whatever, and then I would not go back for a while, and so I wouldn't progress, right? But with doing it 21 days, I said, well, if I do it 21 days, if I do this, it's something that's structured, and I just go from one lesson to another following it. And when I've mastered something, I move on to the next one. And you just keep going like that.
Right.
And so now I'm finishing up level 3 on blues and getting ready to start level 4.
Nice. How many levels are there?
They're either, I think they're like 7 in the blues program.
Oh, okay.
I think. I'm probably wrong. It's probably more like 9, but.
Oh, okay. Cool. So what do you have coming up in terms of videos?
Well, I didn't see. That's a tough one, because I've got a couple different projects that are in the thing. The first thing is I need to finish Ben's guitar. And I'm waiting for the 2K clear to come in tomorrow. And so that'll get shot this weekend. And I'm not doing any new projects until that one is done and out the door. But I have a Firefly 338 here. And the pickups, while the pickups are good, they're really microphonic. And so this one's already had a bunch of mods on it. It's got an LP pickguard on it now. I got the black and white buttons. I was going for the whole tuxedo look.
Oh, sure.
And then I didn't replace the tuners, just the tuner ends to get that white up there.
Right.
And kind of pull it out. And of course it's double bound and all that happy stuff. But for this one, what I've got going on with that is I have some Gibson pickups. I have a 490 and a 498.
Wow.
And so it'll get the 490 in the bridge and the 490. It'll get the 490 in the neck and the 498 in the bridge, and then we're going to wire that up classic 50 style.
That's awesome.
And so that means all the electronic that has dime-sized pots in it. And so we're going to go with full-size pots and try to get them through the F-holes. That should be fun.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So that's that project. And then, but in terms of fabric tops, that would be this one. So this is a Tele Deluxe with a classic Vibe Squire neck on it.
Oh, is that the one you just did the video about the other day? Or no, that had a maple front.
That is a different one.
That's right.
But this one is going to be fabric topped and double bound. Oh,
wow. Nice.
Okay. And so the pickups going into it right now are kind of a question mark. Because it is routed, the way it is routed, it can take P90s. It can take, of course, with the right pick guard, you can put whatever you want in it, right? So it'll take P90s, it'll take humbuckers. So the question is, what is that going to be? And somebody told me, hold off, don't get your pickups on that yet, because there may be something in the works.
Nice.
And but no, this is the one you're talking about.
That's right.
This is the Tele that I bought kind of by accident. I was on an auction site and I'd been watching it, and I was having a bad day, and so I was like, okay, I'm gonna put a bid on it. It's gonna last 20 minutes or so. I'm gonna put a bid on it. I'm just gonna raise it by $1. I'll never win it, but I'll feel good that I put a bid on it, right? And so I did, and ended up winning it. And so I accidentally bought this guitar.
Yeah, I saw you bid $1 more or something than what.
Yeah, $1 more than what it was. And so what we did with this one was we cleaned it up, we buffed up the frets, we restrung it, and that's about it and then I'll put a switch tip on it because it didn't have one. But right now, that one's probably going to stay the way it is. And that I was more excited about because it was a all maple neck, right?
Right.
I haven't ever had a guitar with a maple fretboard. So I was really excited about that.
Yeah, I don't blame you. What else do you have on the rack back there? Did I see like a Paul Reed Smith single cut at one point?
Yeah, you did. Okay, so we got Paul Reed Smith 245 SE.
That's gorgeous. I love that. I love the finish on that.
I saw this. I got this out of the pawn shop, and I saw this tobacco burst, and I had to have it. And and this is probably the most that I've spent on a guitar.
Yeah.
And
worth every penny, I'm sure.
And with that, I still got a deal.
Nice.
But yeah, so we got.
Now, is your wife one of those ones where you have to ask forgiveness rather than permission, or?
Yes, most definitely, because my wife does. My wife not interested in guitar, and so the idea that you need more than one doesn't make any sense to her.
Yes. Okay. So she's like my wife then.
Yeah, definitely.
Nice.
Okay, so this is the one that kind of started the YouTube thing, right?
Yeah.
Because I won this on Scar My Guitars channel, and so what he did with it was he rewired it, put new pots in it, new good switch tip in it. It's got Ibanez pickups, right? And so this one is a screamer, and but when he sent it to me, the neck was broken.
Yeah, I remember seeing that video about that.
And so I had made a video for him showing him what happened with it because he wanted me to do an unboxing. So I did an unboxing. And I knew the minute that I picked up that box, the way the top of the box was flapping around, it wasn't going to be good.
Yeah.
So I kind of expected that. And so I bought a replacement neck and then had to modify the replacement neck because it didn't have the lip.
Oh, sure.
And so I had to go ahead and put that in it. Oh, and he had also put Grover tuners on it. So this thing's great. But this is a Chinese mahogany neck, and it's actually pretty good. Now our weather just changed, and so I'm going to have to go ahead. This one actually, I need to do some work with the truss rod on it because it has moved.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. So,
sorry about that. My light that I use to light all my videos turned off on me.
Yeah.
Must be a timer thing or something.
So this one, I ended up making the two videos, the unboxing and then the repair video, because it was one of those things where I put the video up on the channel that I hadn't really started, and it got some search hits, and people checked it out, and they were like, well, okay, what happened? What happened to it? What are you going to do with it? Are you going to fix it? And so when I ended up fixing it, I did the video on that.
Nice.
And so those were the first two videos with this one. So that's kind of what started doing that. And of course, you saw the other ones on the rack. There's just a Fender acoustic there, and there is a Washburn acoustic electric in the living room, because we have to have one that lives in the living room, right?
Yeah, that's where my Chapman I just got from, that used to be Rob's old guitars.
Yeah, that thing was gorgeous.
Oh my God, it plays like a dream too. You put it up against any Fender Telecaster any day, it'd blow them out of the water.
It is nice. And then, of course, this was a Christmas present. Now, this is a Firefly. So this guitar was $130 new. And I am a sucker for hollow bodies. So when I got Fireflies, I got hollow bodies. I wanted the 338. I wanted this one. And but I see a hollow body, the wheels in my head start working about how am I going to get it.
Nice.
And of course, then we have our last up is our all Fender Telecaster belt. And that is all Fender parts. It is started with the body that I got for $100, which was a major deal from a local gigging artist.
Nice.
So, which is really cool. The body's been on stage. And the neck is a Chris Shiflett neck.
Oh, okay.
And it's a Tele Deluxe neck. And so,
I never played a Chris Shiflett, or his neck's pretty thin, or are they thicker?
It is a little. It's a little thicker than the Tele necks I'm used to. But again, all the other tele necks I've had have been like, Squire Affinity, where they're a little thinner anyway.
Right.
The Firefly, where it's a little thinner anyway. But, this neck is just simply gorgeous. And I got the whole thing as a unit, so it came loaded with the vintage tuners and the bullet truss rod and everything else. But this is it's a parts caster, but it's an all Fender parts caster. The only thing on this that is not Fender are the pickups.
Okay.
And it's got the Dylan Flat 6 pickups in it.
Okay. Nice.
And this thing it sounds gorgeous, but it is heavy. And that was the reason why I got such a good deal on the body, because he was getting rid of the body because it was too heavy. He was getting a lighter body.
Oh, sure.
And that other Tele Deluxe here, this body alone, this is not going to be a gigging guitar. I will tell you, this body alone is 7.5 pounds.
Good
Just
Lord.
the body. Just the body.
What is that? It's not all of it, then, is it?
Honestly, I don't know, because it was one of those. Not Craigslist, but Amazon Marketplace.
Oh, okay.
Local guy selling it, and I got the pick guard with 2 pickups in it, with only one that worked, 2 pots, and a left-handed neck that had the nut flipped around so you could use it right-handed reverse headstock.
Okay.
And of course, the neck wasn't right for that, because it's not the neck pocket was not right for it, so that neck couldn't be used with that body. So hence, I got Squire Classic Vibe neck.
Right. Makes sense. Now, you mentioned earlier on number 1 that your son helped you with the soldering. Does he play at all?
He early on in the pandemic, he bought that black LP, the black LP I showed you.
Oh, sure.
That's actually his. He brought that new. It's one of those. It's a 2018 traditional Pro Free.
Nice.
And the pickups on it are coil split. It's got all the bells and whistles. It is a nice guitar. And that Yamaha acoustic right there, technically those are both his, but I maintain them for him because, he, like a lot of kids, he decided he wanted it. He spent his own money on it and bought it. And he plucked around on it for a while, lost interest, and then, then it sits in here. And so I maintain it with him. I put new strings on it every year and clean it up all the time and, give it some playing time every now and then.
Cool. Yeah, now you're Dallas Fort Worth area, right?
I'm actually Central Texas and closer to Austin.
Closer to Austin. Okay. Cool. I'm asking because they have a really great music scene, and I think I want to try and go to Dallas International Guitar Festival one of these years.
Mm-hmm.
Have you been to that at all?
I have not been to that. So like I said, I'm coming into the guitar game rather late, and so I came into getting the interest in it just before the pandemic started.
Oh, okay.
Because it was 2018 when I started watching the YouTube videos and doing all that.
That's cool. Well, yeah, I don't really have anything else I wanted to ask you about. Do you have any questions for me at all? I mean, I know we've talked briefly about various things in chat on Ben's channel.
Well, I'm interested to see what you've got coming up on your channel, because I will give you a lot of credit. You started for what you started with, and then immediately you went out there and you started talking to people and doing stuff and doing, you were networking right away, and your channel grew really quick. Especially with, having those guys send, are going to NAMM that time and then getting those guys to start sending you pedals. That was really cool to sit there and see on a new channel, right?
Right.
Because we're used to everybody else getting them. And then the stuff you're bringing in is
is different from a lot of stuff that you see traditionally on YouTube channels, and so it's been really cool. And I've really enjoyed all the vintage guitar stuff. I think I'd like to get my hands on one of those one day.
They're good. Did you watch my video about their new lineup for this year?
I did. There were some things on there that I did like. So yeah.
Those I've played one of the V72s they currently have, the Semihollow Telecaster style guitars, and they sound freaking amazing. And it's the same specs as those new ones they're coming out with.
And that is the thing that I love about a semi-hollow guitar. I have just as much fun playing my semi-hollows acoustically as I do plugged in.
Oh, for sure.
You know, and when a guitar just rings out without being hooked up to an amp, when it just sounds beautiful on its own, and that's any electric guitar, it's going to play great through the amp.
Right. Yeah, it's cool because I had some builders. I'll disclose this. I have no problem doing that. I've only gotten a couple things for free for the channel. Most of the rest of it, I've either at least paid for shipping or paid like dealer cost on them. So, but that being said, it's been really cool because the builders whose pedals I've done are all like small indie builders that are just kind of starting out. And those guys are more than willing to give you a chance at first. They just want a video done just to have something out there.
Right.
And so like Danny Kreider over at Noise Pollution has been a huge supporter of mine for a long time. Siren Pedals. I went to NAMM on one of their badges last year. Scott's amazing. Now I have a deal with Cody over at Westminster Effects where he's sending me stuff now, and it's cool, but I'd like to get in with one of the bigger pedal builders that's already established, like a Brian Wampler or Josh Scott from JHS or something like that, because it's funny, when you see one of them put new pedal out, like, let's not bullshit each other. Brian Wampler, people are going to buy his pedals because he's freaking amazing, right? Yeah. Like, you don't need to have RJ Ronquillo do a video for you to sell a gajillion pedals. You're going to sell them because it says Wampler on them, right? And you're a good circuit builder. So, like, why not throw smaller channels like ours a bone every once in a while, which, by the way, you don't have to pay for, and let us do it rather than spending, now RJ does awesome videos. I'm not taking anything away from him, but it's just, you see 20 different videos on those same pedals the day they come out, and it's like, well, Jesus, how much is he spending on that? When people are going to go seek out those videos anyway. So that's been the one frustration I've had, is trying to find, like, stick my nose in there and find those things that those guys aren't reviewing. Like that MXR Sugar Drive. That was a total shot in the dark. I had never seen or heard of that before. I think that video has like 2,000 views now.
The funny thing about it was the biggest video I have is the video where I did on that Epiphone Electar 210, the small amp over there. It has I think something like over 500 views or something like that, which, it was an amp video. I was happy. I got a little tube amp. I was happy. I played through it, and it gets steady hits.
Right.
All my other videos, it's, I've got a small channel. It's only like 41 subscribers. And I will tell you, though, those 41 subscribers come back and they watch all the videos, which is fine.
And the same with my 320 or however many I have now.
And so it's I look at it like my channel is like, I'm doing this for me and my friends.
Right.
Because these are the guys that, these are the guys I met in the chat on YouTube. And, and they, we watch each other's videos, and it's been a nice networking thing. So I'm happy with what my channel does, whether it stays the size it is now or whether it grows.
Well, and I think I am now. I used to, like, before I took my hiatus, for 6 months to go back to school, I was super worried about that all the time. I mean, you probably got that when I talked to you in chats and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's just like, you know what? If it grows, it grows. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I'm just going to have fun. But at the same time, it would be nice to like get more than 2 or 3 subs a week, you know?
Oh, yeah, it's nice. But here's the thing about it, though. When you're not worried about that, you make better videos.
Right.
And I can see you can see the difference in videos when you're worried about it and when you're not, right?
Right.
And so if you're just having fun, it makes a better video. And I think that's something that that Phil talks about in a lot of his videos a lot when he's in his doing his live stream, right? When he talks about if the person making the video isn't really feeling it, you can tell.
Right.
You can feel it. And so when you're just doing it because you need to knock out a video today, then, well, that's the trap of, if you're trying to placate the algorithm to sit there and grow and grow and grow. But, I like mine the way it is because I make a video when I want to. For a while, I was making a video a week and, then I got busy. And so, I've got 40 subscribers. That's okay, though. If I didn't get a video out this week, the next one they get is going to be that much better.
Right.
And that's what I was kind of going for. And, if people people have been really, really super nice, especially with this Carrera Strat. The one that you were, this one you were talking about.
Right.
Because I recently did the video where we put the tuners on it and the string trees and because really I thought this was just going to be something that was going to hang. I didn't think it was going to get a lot of play. I thought it was just something that was going to hang in the background and it would look really cool and people say, "Oh, that's nice," But when I put those P90s in it, combined with that neck pickup, that is the single coil in the neck. Now, the single coil in the neck, though, it's not a neck pickup. It is the middle pickup out of a Strat.
Oh, really? Nice.
Yeah. So
That makes for an interesting combo then.
I'm sorry?
That makes for an interesting combo then.
Well, yeah, it can stand up to the P90 a lot more than the neck pickup would because it's a little bit hotter.
Right, and it probably sounds better in combo with those.
Oh yeah, my favorite position on that is the fourth position, which is the single coil and the middle P90.
Sure. Yeah, I could totally see that. Yeah, trying to think of what else I was going to ask you about. Man, I cannot think of anything. But yeah, dude, seriously, man, I appreciate you watching all my videos and you always take the time to comment and it means a lot.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. And that's the thing too, when you start making videos and you realize what really goes into it, the fact that someone takes time out of their day to either give you that thumbs up. It's great when they give you the thumbs up. If you just get that, you're happy, right?
Right.
But when someone takes the time and to type in a comment and tell you how beautiful that guitar is, or how did you do that, or whatever, it's great. When I did the build on the telly there, the parts caster, I got a couple comments from people in other countries, and I had to translate what they typed into the comments to figure out what they said. And so, people that are sitting here watching a video that's not even in their language, and there's no subtitles on my videos right now. Okay, so they just watched the video and left a comment. That was really cool. That
is cool. Maybe they understood English, but just didn't know how to type it or didn't have the option or something.
It might be, but it doesn't matter one way or the other. They took the time to sit here and do it. And so when I responded to that person, I typed what I wanted to, and I put it into Google and translated it. And I think it was Portuguese or something.
Nice.
Yeah, I think it was Portuguese, and I translated into Portuguese and then copied that and then put that in the comments so they could read the response to their comment. Because that's one of the really cool things about it is when someone responds, you get that notification that someone responded to your comment, right?
Sure.
And so that was really good. And the Fabric Top Strat got a lot of love. and as did Junior. Yeah,
as they both should, because they're awesome. So what type of music are you into then, Charles? I've never asked you about that. Obviously blues if you're going through that course, right?
I am all over the place. My music influence started with my father, who was big into rockabilly.
Oh, okay.
So I grew up with all that 50s and 60s stuff constantly being played in the house. And so got really attached to that and went down the Buddy Holly hole and the Elvis hole and, all the different things. And then, I got into blues because of the Blues Brothers. When that movie came out, I said, okay, well, I wanted to know more about these other people. And then finding out, when you started chasing it down and finding out the people they were playing with were real blues musicians that were really noteworthy, and you started following all that, that was really cool. But the majority of what I really listened to is a lot of classic rock.
Okay.
And a lot of prog rock.
Nice. Like, what prog rock bands are we talking? Just out of curiosity.
Growing up, my favorite prog rock band was Styx.
Yes.
Because they had something that was everything. It was, there was the ballad, there was the hard rock song, there was the cool artsy thing in the middle. And then there were the songs that, you get something like Come Sail Away that starts off as a ballad and ends up as a rock anthem. And it's just,
Right. That's interesting you classify them as prog rock, because I've never really thought of them that way.
That's the way they get labeled a whole bunch. And I think they got labeled that way because people didn't know what to think of them, because they were like, they would do the ballad, they would do the hard rock thing, they would do the real out there technical stuff, and then and then you'd have all those things happening in the same song.
Right.
It's really funny because I'm living in Texas now, but I grew up in Connecticut, and I grew up watching Austin City Limits.
Nice.
And so being down here where it is now is really cool. So I remember seeing Stevie Ray Vaughan and Johnny Cash and all those guys on Austin City Limits, and sit there and that grew my music interest, because they have so many different kinds of things up there. But it's just a lot of fun.
Austin City Limits now?
I'm sorry?
You attend that event?
I have not been to one, and I've been here since '94, but I catch them all on the TV. I catch most of them on the TV and watch it that way. I still do want to go, but I want it to be for an artist that I really love. Right. So I'm, you're waiting for those certain people to click through before I want to go down there. And because when they do that, it's a whole ordeal. They tape them in the middle, they tape them actually during the day.
Right.
And so, you're kind of locked in for the day when they do it, but you get to a great show. But so it's kind of a commitment. So I don't like to be around a lot of people all at one time.
Oh, okay. You're like my dad then. You don't like crowds.
Yeah, I don't like big, huge crowds. I can deal with them, but I'm not the happiest to camp around. Of course, when you want to see big music, you've got to see it in a big crowd, and that's fine.
Right. So, like, I'd never be able to convince you to go on, like, a friend's trip to NAMM some year or something?
Well, that would be more of an economic decision of anything else.
Oh, sure.
But that is something where I could do and be happy with it, and that wouldn't bother me too much. But it's not something I'm going to do like every day,
Right.
You do it because it's something special, right?
Right. So when we say classic rock, are you talking like Foreigner is one of my all-time favorite bands? Are you into Foreigner at all?
I was into Foreigner. I was into Cream. I was into all the Clapton stuff. I was, let's see, who else do I really like for that? Love the Allman Brothers. It's you go into all that stuff, and it comes out of it, and you sit there, you don't even realize how it comes back. to a lot of those things, Leonard Skinner, all those, all those things that go into Led Zeppelin, all those things that everybody listened to, but you just listened to them your whole life. And that was what music was, right? You just had all these different influences. But and things like, the Who, the Stones, all that, all that great stuff that was 60s, 70s rock.
That's when all the good music was made. I keep telling, because I keep going back to Instagram, and there's a lot of UK bands right now that sound like that era, that are just playing good, honest rock and roll, right?
Yeah.
And the US does not have that. I think I found like 3 bands, but it's all like some screamo crap, or like not all of it's crap. Some of it's really good, but it's all like screamo or like weird pop music that's overproduced, or just like the same cookie cutter BS you hear on the radio all the time. And it's like, dude, is rock
anything that is a combination of rock and blues, I just absolutely love.
Awesome.
I was a big, huge B.B. King fan, and I was waiting to see him, and unfortunately he passed before I could. But I absolutely love B.B. King, and I've loved, and that's a great thing about watching him, because you do all those concerts where he was playing with everybody in the blues field, right? So you got to know everybody. If you follow B.B. King, you got to know everybody else.
Do you know who Philip Sayce is?
I'm sorry?
Have you heard of Philip Sayce?
It sounds familiar, but it's not ringing a bell.
I will send you via email a link to some of his shows. He does blues and rock. Very good combination of that. He's from Toronto area.
Mm-hmm.
But he's probably the best guitarist alive right now.
There is an Austin-based band. I don't know if they're Austin-based anymore, but I think they were Austin-based. Honey Brown, and they've got that whole. It is kind of a bluesy rock country vibe thing going. And so all the songs are a little bit different, but man, they are really good. And I think they had gone from Austin and done the whole Nashville thing, and then I don't know if they came back or not, but they have a song about coming back to Austin. So it's very clear that they were in Nashville when they wrote it.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
That's awesome. But yeah, here's what I have coming up, just to fill you in a little bit, because you mentioned that earlier. So I have a bunch of stuff that was in my backlog that I just didn't get to before my hiatus. Like my next pedal video is going to be the Osteen from Westminster Effects, which is a heavy distortion. It does Bush very well, which is one of my all-time favorite bands. So I got that coming up. Obviously, the stuff with Chapman, with that new guitar I just got.
Yeah, that thing is incredible.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
It sounds good too. I got some vintage stuff coming up. I may or may not be getting a couple of their new models to preview, to demo. I'll probably have to send them back after I'm done, but
just a chance to play them.
Yeah. Well, and then I have a whole shelf full of other pedals I just haven't gotten to. Like I'm starting this series where it's called Fresh Take, where I take an older pedal that's been way overdone and just do a fresh video about it, right? Mm-hmm. Like, for instance, I just filmed the other day the DS1 distortion from Boss, right? Just to get a fresh video about it. If nobody watches them, great, but it's filler for me, right?
Well, I tell you, I'm certainly looking forward to it. I remember it was funny because before you took your hiatus, I never missed one of your videos, and I remember the video where you're talking about why you were taking it.
And then it was one day I was going through my day and I was on YouTube and I was looking for something new. I said, Dan hasn't put a video up forever. And it had been long enough to where I forgot you were on, you had went back to school. And that was when I reached out to you with an email. I said, Dan, are you okay?
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
And it was funny. Your response was really great. And I really, truly appreciated it. It kind of made my day that day.
Well, awesome. That's good to hear. How did I respond? I don't remember.
It was like, no, I'm doing well. I went back to school, and I really appreciate you asking. It was just so nice and kind and pleasant, which is one of the really great things about this community that is out there. And but it was like, no, don't you? It wasn't like I might have answered it myself, but don't you remember I'm doing this? And you didn't do it. You're like, it was obvious that you had taken some time to craft email for it to be as nice and positive as possible. Right. So it was appreciated.
Well, yeah, I try and be as pleasant as possible. This is not guitar related, but one of the things that I figured out being a small business owner, because like right now, I own an insurance agency with a major company. I'm not going to say who it is, but I'm getting out of it because I don't like it. We'll just put it. I'll just say that. But one of the things I learned in interactions with anybody, you start emails with "Hi, so and so," the walls automatically come down because it sounds so much more friendly.
Yeah,
and so like. I started doing that, and because you're not the only person that's like, oh, you sound so pleasant via email, and it's like, well, I started using hi, and I guess it makes you sound jovial or something.
It's the funny thing about it is when you talk about email, and and it's one of the things that I train, right? How to write effective emails, and so I have an eye for this as I read emails. And, a lot of people it's something quick, you fire it off, you get an answer. And a lot of people respond to email that way. And you didn't, which was really cool. And it was why I sent you that other email yesterday after I responded, oh, yeah, that time will work. And I was like, and I fired it off. And I came back and said, that's not the right way to do this. and I wrote back and wrote your second email.
I was just like, cool, whatever, man.
But no, it goes for the majority of the guitar community on YouTube is great.
Yeah, I haven't met anybody yet that I thought was a prick. So.
There are most of the content creators are really nice and they'll give you some time and they'll talk to you. There's a few that won't, and that's fine. And there's some that that rub me the wrong way, and that's okay too. Right. But for the majority of it, what's out there, it's all really positive. And I think sometimes we as viewers, when we get caught up in all our little things that we love so much about a particular guitar or brand and stuff, we're the ones that kind of start to change that sometimes. And it's that really good content creator or host that turns that around and makes it positive.
Right.
And both Phil and Ben do that amazingly well.
They do, yeah. I agree. That was one of the other things I was thinking about. Is like I haven't been on Ben's show in a long time. I wonder when I'm going to get my next invite.
Well, with Ben, sometimes he does. Sometimes you have to nudge him.
Yeah.
Yeah, just send him off an email. Say, hey, I'm sure if you were to invite him to do a Creator Hangout, that he would probably in turn offer. He's always looking for someone new to have on his show.
Well, he had me on a while ago, and what prompted that, he was actually my first Creator Hangout I did.
Yeah. Yeah, and so that and the idea that you're back on YouTube and doing stuff again would be a great topic of conversation there.
Right, for sure. Oh, dude, I know what I was going to ask you. So what's your dream guitar then? Like, money does not matter. You could buy anything you wanted. What would you buy?
Okay.
Or Or you could go further, Charles, and say, what's your dream setup? Like, this is my holy grail guitar. This is my holy grail amp. This is what my holy grail pedal board looks like.
There was, okay. You remember those, the Fender Elite guitars? They had that whole Elite series. I think it was Elite series.
How long ago was that?
2016, 17, I think.
I'm sure if I saw them, I'd know what you're talking about.
There was a thin line Telecaster that they had done in jade green.
Oh, dude. That's one of my
And
favorite colors.
it was simply gorgeous. And so, if I was thinking about one, it would be that. But really, the more I think about it, I want that George Harrison Rosewood Telly.
Nice. Good choice. Heck of a good choice.
So I'm, like I said, I'm a sucker for a hollow body. And I love rosewood fretboards, which is why I guess I had never even thought about getting one that was maple fingerboard before. And it feels different. It feels quite a bit different. I'm surprised how much different it feels. I wasn't expecting it. And but I keep the one thing that I want to do is I want to do a build with an all rosewood neck. And I thought it was going to be a Telly. But now I'm on what? 1, 2, 3, 4 Tellys? Yeah. So, and not an all rosewood neck yet. So it's either going to be 5 Tellys and one of them's going to have a rosewood neck, or I'll do a rosewood Strat.
Dude, it's funny you mentioned the difference in playability between rosewood and maple. Have you ever played a guitar that has roasted maple on it?
I have not, because like I said, this is my very first all maple neck, right?
Right.
So now I would like, now it makes me really want to try a roasted maple neck, and I almost thought for that Telly build right there, that almost got a roasted maple neck.
Dude, there is a huge... I can tell the difference between normal maple and roasted maple, too. And I love roasted maple. Like, I'm not a maple fretboard guy until I tried roasted maple.
The only reason
feels better.
the thing was, I was looking for something that was going to make... when I built that guitar, a lot of that was opportunity cost, right?
Right.
What can I got an amazing deal on the body on that. I got an amazing deal on the pickups for it. And I got an amazing deal out of that neck loaded. And so I was this close to clicking on buying a roasted maple neck, and it was beautiful. And it was, and of course, for that build, it had to be all Fender stuff, right? So
right.
That was the idea behind it. And I thought that build was going to take me forever to put together, because it was said, the Fender parts are expensive, right? And so, but I kept plugging away, looking at eBay and Stratosphere and Reverb, and got a fantastic... I only paid $150 for the neck loaded.
Yeah, I remember you saying...
I only spent $100 on the body. The pickups, which are normally $200, I paid $89 for the set.
Nice.
And then all the other bits and bobs came off the Stratosphere. And that build was cheaper than what it would cost me to buy one, which is unusual when you're doing parts casters, right? Usually by the time you assemble everything, it's actually more expensive than what you would buy in the store. But so that was a great victory that way, because financially it was less expensive than if I just went and bought one. And then I ended up with a Telecaster that nobody else has.
Nice. So what's your dream amp then?
Well, let's see. I've got a Princeton 650, and I got the Epiphone, and I've got a Spark. I'm kind of torn, because I think what I want it would definitely be a Fender, and I think I want the Blues Deluxe.
Good choice.
I think that would be it. Either, I think that's what I would want. There's a couple others that I kind of had my eye on for a minute, but that's the one that kind of, for me, would sit there and do it in like a tweet, right? Maybe.
Right.
So.
Nice. Yeah, so for me, I think I'd like, my dream guitar would be a build from like a small luthier.
Mm-hmm.
So like Gullet Guitars, one of Chase's, I think the model's called the Daytona. I met him at Summer NAMM, and his builds are amazing. And they're not that expensive. I think he's got them listed for, it's like $2,500 to $3,500, which, I mean, that seems a lot compared to the guitars you and I buy, but for something that's custom crafted, he cuts all the bodies and does all that. That's really not that much. Or Thad Shoemaker, who I've talked about on the channel several times, is my guitar tech that works on all my guitars. He builds guitars and is going to make, well, he and I have talked about, I haven't pulled the trigger on it yet. Do you remember the Fender Tornado?
Yeah.
And you've probably seen the Squire ones on my channel.
Right.
Doing it essentially a Fender Tornado build, just a Schumacher guitar works. It'd be called the Power Hawk because he names them all after Studebaker cars because he's huge into Studebakers. So we do that with a reverse headstock, a little bit longer scale length than 24 3/4. In fact, I might have him do it as a baritone potentially, and have I haven't decided which pickups yet, but if I get something high end, I'm going to support a small builder doing it.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that was a thing where, with doing, I don't have a lot of money to spend on gear.
Right.
And so I'm very frugal about how I acquire things. And I will wait to buy something until the deal is there. I mean, I've lost out on stuff because I'm waiting for the price to come down or whatever the case may be.
Right.
But when you get something for that deal, it makes it all worse. I mean, not all worse. I mean, a whole lot better. It's a much bigger reward, right?
Right.
Like I said, the two of the funnest guitars I have are, the Fabric Top Strat, which cost me almost nothing, and then the LP Junior. And the people that those two guitars have introduced me to has been really phenomenal.
Right.
I mean, it was really cool. I was watching Flipside Music. I was watching their FAQ show one day, and Dylan had watched the show where I was on with Ben and had seen the Fabric Top Strat. And he starts talking to Ike about it and telling him how beautiful it was and everything, and he loved to play it. And I'm like, wow, this is really cool.
Yeah, that is awesome.
And so yeah, it's just a lot of fun that, when you do something and people appreciate it and say so, it's, it makes it worth doing.
Right.
And the friends that I've made doing this have just been incredible. It was funny when we had that email and you said, hey, when I do come back from doing this, would you please be the first one to come on? And I was like, I'd love to, but I was very honored to be asked because, like you said, it was, your channel is one of the reasons why I'm doing this one. So.
Wow, shucks, man. I appreciate it. As always, people, thanks for watching. Again, this is Charles75N. I will post a link to his channel in the description. He does some really awesome project builds. You've seen a couple of them today. If you want something like that done, maybe get a hold of him, see if he can do one for you. But yeah, as always, thank you so much for watching and have fun playing.